Hey everybody, this is Gary and we're in the brewery, and this is So You're Opening a Brewery series. As you can look around, we're in the midst of full build out now finally, only a year late. Anyway, I'm going to show you some clips of things we've been doing. Josh and I have been working really hard between working our jobs, trying to pay bills, and then working in here. And in previous videos, it was fortunate that we got a building that was being built, and we worked with the landlord, allowing us to be in the building and constructing before we've had to pay a dime of rent, which is very, very good. That's the plus side to waiting this long. We had some big infrastructure milestones to go through, and that was the digging up of the concrete and putting in all of our trench drains, plumbing and sewer for the bar.
Yeah, that was quite the messy day. I'm going to jump in here. This is Josh. I'm going to play Voice of God from my living room couch today. It was very cool to see the concrete all dug up and how all of our plumbing is kind of interconnected and intertwined and laying over each other. It was good that we were able to see them putting it together because we were able to catch a couple of mistakes before they were finalized.
Yeah, there's been a lot of electrical work going on above, on the sides, so we've had to play musical equipment, so our equipment's been moved many, many times, making room for the scissor lifts and painting of the beams, painting of the walls. We had started building our pony wall, half wall bar. I'll show you, you should be seeing pictures of that now.
Yeah, and I'll jump in here for a second. Gary had talked about, complications with, working around people and moving our equipment a number of times. I mean, this entire project just had to remain, we have had to remain flexible and fluid. And while we're trying to meet our own needs and expectations, we're also trying to manage let's say temperaments of the workers that are hired to do a job different than ours. So you can see those gentlemen in the back going on the scissor lift up and down. The electricians hired to do the job at this building, we've had to work around them. The painters, in one of the photos Gary already flashed up, you see 3 scissor lifts up at one time. So yeah, we've been moving our equipment quite a bit out of everyone else's way, including our own. So one thing we had to decide on was, okay, well, concrete's done. We can start constructing, but when and where? And to answer those questions, we need to figure out when the other vendors, the painter and electrician, are going to be working in what part of our building. So we've kind of been trailing after them, and then we also kind of have been asserting ourselves in areas where they thought they'd be coming to work the next day and working on a section, and Gary and I have already begun construction on something like, let's say, this pony wall bar. So it's been a lot of give and take between us and the on-site, the builder. So yeah, you see here, we were framing the pony wall bar out. Initially, I thought we would start from the center and work our way outward. After much deliberation back and forth with Gary and I, we ultimately rested on, hey, starting on this side little pony wall bar would be the best place to start, given all of the circumstances and some of our restrictions. So yeah, the framing out of the base of the bar wasn't all that particularly complicated. You're building a frame, you're boxing it out. Where we ran into some collaboration and agreements and disagreements and negotiation was, how are we going to support the bar where you rest your elbows and your drink and your phone and whatnot. So we decided on a concept, and we're very happy with how it's structured. You see Gary here throwing in some plywood on the second third, the back 2/3 of this pony wall bar. In the foreground, you see some 2x4s going straight up. That's going to be a partition wall between the patron and our service side of let's say the brewery. We're going to have a desk just on the other side of this, and we can be quietly working on our desk while a customer enjoys a beer, if we happen to be at our laptop for one reason or another, paying a bill, on Beersmith, formulating a recipe, watching security camera footage, or what have you. We can be doing that undisturbed on the other side of the partition wall while the customer has a drink.
So Josh and I have shared some alone time in the brewery based on our schedules, and we've also shared a lot of together time in the brewery where we've really needed two people. Some of the projects, of course, that you can imagine is what we've shown in the past is some of the cutting and welding of metals to make custom racks, and also we have used some of that same metal for infrastructure, for putting in the curb and the vent for the kitchen hood system, which had to be put up on the roof. So this is the major project that we did today. This is going up on the roof in here, interiorly, in the interior.
So just think of, we had these main
Those rafters up there, we're gonna be connecting that between them.
right, so the rafters are going this way, as he just showed you.
Yeah.
And these are bridging the gap between those beams.
So here you see Gary cutting a hole into one section of what has been told to us a half acre of roofing. One of the general contractor's employees told us just the sheer magnitude of the size of the roofing on this 14-unit building. So we were very fortunate to have weekdays and a lot of weekends where, you know, the day laborers were off. I think this was a weekend. I think we did a Saturday, Sunday on this, and we were able to utilize the scissor lift to get up there and cut a hole in the building. You can see that we're up there so it's about 24 feet up, and this is the tail end of summer. I mean, it's not the dog days of the summer, but it's certainly warm outside, and it was warm up there.
And then all the subsequent ducting, approved ducting, that you can't just use a dryer vent for this stuff. It has to be a certain thickness, it has to have clean outs, has to have a certain slope to it so the grease drives back into the hood. And then of course, we've had to mount that hood.
So one of the things you hear about when you're planning a brewery is they say, well, you know, do you know how to weld? Do you know how to fabricate things? And certainly that was a prerequisite for the building out of our brewery as we move forward. I think we finally brought the welder back to Gary's house, but who knows, we may need it again. Every time we think we're done fabricating, we have to fabricate something else. So this was steel made from store shelving at a place that I worked at over the summer, actually late spring, early summer. We fabricated these brackets for our hood and came up with a plan and got it up there. I did not expect the kitchen hood to be so heavy, and I did not expect to find so many uses for cargo ratchet straps, but you got to use the tools and resources around you. So we came up with an interesting way to lift this up. We're only two men with two hands each, so 4 hands and 5 ratchet straps. So that gave us the equivalent of 9 hands helping us lift that up there. The ratchet straps, they don't endure fatigue like we do, but I know Gary and I were both pretty sore the next couple of days after getting this thing up there.
So you can see that was a unique way of doing things. I'm sure there was a different way, and some of you guys out there would say, why didn't you do this or why didn't you do that? But this is the only thing that came to mind, and we worked through it, and it worked. My back was a little sore from squatting it, but hey, a little something for the brewery, you know, a little blood, sweat, and tears, as they say. Josh already put some blood in it. We kind of got lucky. There was a kind of a miscommunication with the builder. We were supposed to build and frame the bathrooms, but original plans showed 1 bathroom being built. So the construction guys came in and started putting in the bathroom, and on the plans it showed 2, so they framed 2 bathrooms in. And then the builder came and timed out and said, hey, yeah, I'm not gonna have them do both bathrooms. But be honest with you, sheetrocking is the easy part. They framed the whole thing. So that kind of was fantastic. We had a little, well, it wasn't really a mishap. So when we were building when we were doing the drawings on this, we really didn't know where the sewer system laid, and we didn't know how deep it was, so we didn't know what kind of depth we were gonna have to put some of the things that we had to install, like the sample port and the grease trap for the kitchen. So we had to get risers for these things after they were installed, and we had to get them custom made because the depth had to be set, you know, for drainage levels, whatever, so everything drained properly. So when the grease trap was set in the ground, they said, you know, we can set it for 12 inches. That might, a round number might be easier for you to get. Well, turns out our grease trap didn't have any risers for it. And a deep dive search into the internet, I found one company that actually made custom risers for anything. So we had to wait 6 weeks for a custom riser to be built for our grease trap, which is why there's this hole in the floor forever. And so you can see there, we're putting in the grease trap and, the riser for the grease trap. And then we had to spend a day mixing concrete and pouring it.
Yeah, so I'll chime in here for a second, Gary. Guys, I came into the scene late that morning. Gary had this whole thing tarped off like this you see here in the video. It looked like a scene out of the TV show Dexter. I had no idea what we were in store for. 10 bags of cement later, I think it was, and it was a disaster. You can see right here in the photo. It is not promising. But it turned out pretty good, actually. So you can see that here in the video, and I was very surprised. We both were.
So one of the other things we got to do was we got to put in sign letters on the sign board. So this building complex has signboards. Everybody has the same signboard. So basically, you are limited to what you can put on this board. And although, by the way, it all has to be aluminum letters, painted with a certain metal paint and stimpled rolled out, and it's very specific. So we took our signs that we had made and we asked the landlord, when the signboards show up, can you just give us 3 days so that we can put our letters on our board? So when they hang the signboard up, our sign's already on it, save 10 grand. Well, the sign company came with the landlord, and they pushed back hard on that because they know they were losing money. But be honest with you, the landlord really advocated for us and said, look, these guys know what they're doing, just let them do it. You've got the whole complex as part of the payment for, you know, doing the job. Let this one slide. So he basically let this one slide. So they brought the signboard over and we put the letters on it. And that's how this whole project has gone. I mean, putting the sweat equity in, but trying to find all the deals out there. The delay on this has really allowed us to find some fantastic deals on kegs and equipment and things that we would not have been able to do had we opened last December. Yes, we'd have been making money, but it may not have been as nice as this. So this has really turned out, so far, it's turned out pretty good for us. So today it's interior work, putting in sign letters on the wall here. They're going to be backlit with LEDs against the wall with standoffs. So that's what I'm doing today, maybe even to tomorrow, because it's going to be very time consuming, because I have to mount LEDs to the back of the signs, cut the wires, extend the length of the wires, solder splice, shrink. Each letter has to be done individually that way, and then mounted to the concrete and be level. So you'll see some time lapse of that going through the day. And on the next video, Josh?
Yeah, so next video, hopefully we'll have some footage of unpacking the cooler from the pallet and clicking it all together. Framing out the kitchen around the cooler and under the mezzanine, and tying it into the bathrooms, as well as hopefully maybe we can get into some of the main bar framing and the project that's going to be. Maybe we'll have some footage of us completing the pony wall bar and whatever else we find ourselves stumbling into.
Cheers, everybody. Thanks for watching, and look forward to the next video where you see some of this stuff finishing out and not be so rough looking. Cheers.